Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which, is painful, which is, also free, which is also full of beauty and full of life and also trauma. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet, just like a tell all. Hi.
Hi! So today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, the tell all part 2. And I just want to say that Chris is having some audio issues. So if she sounds different, just bear with us. And if it's awful, you should join us on Patreon for $10 a month, where you could see the visuals of what you're listening to right now. That way you could just see her and you know exactly what's going on. All right.
Mhm.
So, Chris,
Yes.
what did you think of the tell all?
I didn't know if you were testing me to see if I had frozen. So that's why I was like, yes, I'm still here. You know what? I loved it. I thought it was great. Like they gave me a little more diversity in shots of the audience to make me feel like there was more than two people there. That made me happy. I mean, they started bringing people out of the woodwork. Yeah. Oh, look at her come. Yeah, they started bringing not only more audience members out of the woodwork, but people I didn't think I'd ever see again. Like I didn't think that, I mean, anyway, there was everything. It was really all encompassing. We even got to see Hazel's. I'm sorry. We even got to see Sheila's new place. Why'd I say Hazel? That
Yeah.
was a blast from
I
the
mean,
past.
that was a blast from the past. You were like, my Filipino girl.
Run the way, girl. Run the
Yeah.
way, girl.
Yeah.
Talk
I just
about
want to
blasts, by the way. One other beautiful thing about my life, besides the internet issues, if you hear like weird sounds, there's also a full air show happening in Orange County today. So it's just a lot of blasts above my head too. So like, what a fun day. Anyway, go.
um how did this man with the gold chain get on the show with the like embossed bulldog on his shirt? Like he's a gray embossed bulldog on a black sweatshirt with a gray shirt underneath, like a gray t-shirt underneath, and like a gold thick ass gold chain. And I want to know, is he there? Like, is that his daughter? Did he come to this with taping with his daughter? Like that was like her guest? Because or is he like an avid 90 Day Fiance fan? Like, is he like excited to see Jasmine's dress? You know?
Yes, I love this. He looks like he's like Busta Rhymes' like cousin, and she looks like she's Janelle Monáe's like aunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, or no, Janelle Monáe's like no, like niece. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They both look like they're from famous families. They should be in that show. Who am I, or whatever that show's called. It's not called Who Am I?
Famous,
Called
famous family. We are
You Know
like
Who I
they,
Am? I'm
yeah.
someone. But
It's
anyway.
like, who cares? Okay. So we start off with where we left off last episode, with Violet, and talking about her pregnancy and what's going on with that. And Violet tells us that she, because of her age and her health issues, that she lost the baby and it was super duper sad. And Sean asks Riley like what he thinks about it, and Riley's like, I just don't know the whole story, which leads me to believe, Chris.
Oh. Do you guys see that? Okay, just you can't see it if you're not on Patreon, but you can hear what she just did, which is what leads me to believe Chris, and then just dot dot dot, and then just letting me go to the fray, go to the fire. I'll tell you this. He's like, yeah, it's hard for me to, feel connected or whatever to this point. And I was like, oh shit, he thinks that, she's lying, and it's a little like whether it was a viable pregnancy and she made a choice, or whether it happened, confusing the timeline, confusing of when she knew and like how fast she told him, and like, it's all very murky. And I'll tell you that it does feel like, for me, my I sort of see them differently post the taping and the tell-alls, where Riley kind of like stood up and was more of a, seems like, rational, decent person than I thought. And Violet seems more like, I wasn't getting the whole picture there. And I don't know about her, honey. I really don't know. But I mean, when this all comes around, and when we realize that after he brings his friends out, and after we talk, and after this, and after that, that she's coming to America, and you know what? She's going to hit up Riley. And you know what? We'll see what happens, because there's still a chance.
Yeah. He's not closing the door or the window, or the French doors, as Tiffany said. Tiffany in that moment was like, I feel for her. I'm a woman. I understand things happen. And so I'm really sorry that happened for her. And then Tiffany gets taken. She walks away. So we move on.
Take it, no, and then like we have to go find her, honey. It's a whole movie, you know. It's like that Irish actor, you know, like he goes and he gets her back. He gets her back. Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson is in another like high speed movie, and I'm like, okay, it worked like 15 years ago because it was like, oh, so unexpected. Liam Neeson as this like badass, and now he's 72 years old, and they still got him running around. Anyways, that's what I have.
Well, Harrison Ford's 292, and I mean, like an AI version plays him, you know, in like this whatever movie I saw.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is like, poor Bruce Willis, and I'm waiting for them to tell us that he has gone on to the maker because it's just so sad. Anywho, so they go to eat lunch, and I wrote that down, but then didn't write any notes on it. So let's jump.
Because it's funny because they go to break, and then suddenly all the PAs are like, white box. Here's a white box, and they all have like white boxes full of like compartments that you can tell it's a styrofoam
salad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, 3-part compartment. One is a lot of salad. I was like, is this an Italian place? Like, where do they all get? Like, they are munching down like rabbits on the screen. You know, like they can't get enough. I mean, just full salads into mouth. They're hungry people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're hungry. I wondered what they were eating. I always wondered what they're eating, and I feel like it must be good because they're in New York City, right? So they must have been able to get something delicious, right? I mean, not Dean and DeLuca, right? That wasn't Dean and DeLuca packaging, but I miss Dean and DeLuca. That's just the end of that sentence. Maybe it was like halal guys, like street food. No, they wouldn't do that. I just wonder, like, I know that they're on the west side somewhere. I just wonder where. Anywho, so Christian and Chloe. Now it's time for Christian and Chloe. She has been in America for 1 month when they divulged that information, and we are all very shocked. I missed my opportunity to see her. I knew she was here. He posted pictures, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm never going to be able to see Chloe." Like, I just walking around the streets of Virginia.
It's Cleo. So, here's the thing. Yes, Christian loves a little bit that we think that they shouldn't be together, and yet they persist. I feel like he gets off a little bit on being like, "Can you guys believe it?" No. You know, so yeah, she's been there a month. What they say, I wish they were like, it's like, what did you do for the month? Like, what do you know? Like, what kind of activities? Like, did you have to like go to bars? But like, what they mostly want to tell us is that she met only part of his family, chiefly the female parts of his family, because quote unquote. And when Sean Robinson asks why, like Christian cuts her off to kind of be like, let me answer this one. It's because I wanted to protect her from, my family that are very masculine and judgmental. Conservative, masculine and conservative. Masculine is such a bad word to start that sentence with, because it's like, it's like, that's not it. I mean, like you can say, because here's the thing, there's a lot of females that do not like transgendered females. They're TERFs. I'm sorry, like the word TERF. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean. I'm sorry, this is what I want to say. Let me say this right. It's not so much a masculine versus feminine thing of people that are going to accept transgendered, either male to female or female to male in the situation because biases are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there is, to say that like my family's very like the men in my family are very masculine, and they're going to be like not into it, but the women are very feminine and they will. And I feel like, well, not necessarily, because there's a lot of cisgender females in this world that have issues with transgendered people, like that's what I mean to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, it automatically infuses the word masculine as being something negative that just automatically doesn't like trans people. And I don't think that's true. My father's masculine, my brother's masculine. There are many men that I know who are masculine and would not meet someone's partner because they were trans. So it's like, not only are they, and it's also conservative too, right? Like you're adding that in. Like sometimes, yes, being conservative could mean that someone's super religious, or maybe they have just traditional American European values, like Eurocentric American values or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean that someone is going to automatically who holds the moniker or the title of conservative, as they wouldn't want to meet their nephew or their son's or their brother's partner. So also, what does, like, if he says that his family is so masculine, it's like he's taking himself out of that, because obviously he's not masculine.
Yes.
Or like whatever it is. So it's just like a weird negative thing that he just said, and I was like, that's not right, because there are masculine men out there who are not going to be, not even to meet someone and act like a fucking human, right? You may be like, I'm not interested in this, or I would be upset if my child did this, whatever, but you could meet someone and you could be cordial.
I think it speaks more to how they feel about Christian. Like, this is always this thing where I feel like, does the men in your family not respect you, regardless of Cleo? Because it's not, like, do the men in your family not think that you have made good decisions in your life ever?
Yep.
So much so that if you were like, hey, I made a decision so important that I'm like, this is a relationship, that it seems that they've already had a taste of thinking that you are like either full of shit, or, like, to be written off, or not earning of their dignity or respect in some way. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but there's something about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because the way they said it, he met all the female side. So his mom, his grandma, all his aunties, his his female cousin, his sister. Like, it just felt like it was just a brouhaha witchy time and him. Like, they were all having this like female. I don't know. It just, the way he said it, it just wasn't right. And I mean, he is like
one more thing. Is it this? I just want to know if it's like this. Okay. Is it that they've not been liking him because they think that he's gay or something, and it feels like, and if that's the case, then it has literally nothing to do with Cleo. Like, I kind of wanted to be like, they've been, not accepting of certain choices of my life, or thinking of me of some way for a long time, as opposed to it being this Cleo thing,
It may be because he's liberal and his father's like, you're the dumb liberal. I mean, it could be
Yeah.
anything. It could be anything.
Snowflake.
He's probably gone against his family, for his father specifically, for other things, and his mother's probably like, well, I still love you. I'm just making this up. I don't know anything about his family, but I just,
we all are making it up. We don't
certain
know
dynamics. Yeah, certain dynamics in people's lives that I've seen is that the father is the one that like holds the line and is the grudge bearer, and the mom is just kind of stuck in the middle. But anywho, so then we like, oh God, Chris, they give us the footage of him talking to the girl in England, the American abroad. Mm-hmm. And I really thought that this was such a good thing to bring out on the tell-all. Like, fuck the family members, fuck the friends. If you really want to ratchet up this tell-all, give us a scene that we didn't see, that we've heard about and we wondered, and then shock us with the fact that you actually had the scene. And right. So we actually get to see him interacting with whatever her curly haired name is. And we see him being like, and she's already mic'd. So there was something, he started talking to her prior, a producer, I don't know, but she was already mic'd. So like, she had to sign papers and like do whatever. They had to like put the mic on her. And he's like standing there with his cat backwards, and he's wearing that stupid, stupid leather jacket. And he's like, hey there, and she's like, do I detect an accent? And he's like, yeah. So then they're talking, and he fucking he's sliding up to her. He would never have that energy with a man. Never have that energy, that we know of, with a man, So we saw him flirt in real time. And then he starts to tell her about something that he hasn't. I mean, I'm sure he's told to Chloe, but he didn't talk about it to Chloe. So this is new information that he's telling a stranger in public about Miss Cleo.
Yeah, call her Miss Cleo.
It's about Miss Cleo.
To you. It's Miss Cleo to you. I love you.
And she's like, yeah, we have like I'm going to tell my Steiners. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And then she's like, that sounds dumb. And then he says, oh, it's this thing I and my friends created. And we immediately know that it is the stupidest, probably like incel, nerdy fucking, we kind of hate women because we can't get them, or we do have women, but like we're kind of, well, so why do we have, I mean, just like his friend Thomas, or all the friends we saw at the party, like maybe is top bun in the like friend group. I don't, Chris.
All of it. But then the best part is, for some
Diners
reason,
Anonymous.
for some reason, this Discord, which is what this is, gets a female fan of his that starts flirting with him endlessly, only posting to him, tells him that he's cute. Like, half of me is like, is Christian on the show to convince us that he gets thrown pussy at him all the time?
I don't.
Is it like the most elaborate PR campaign to make us believe that Christian is in fact like a, life of the party ladies man? I mean, it feels like that, but I mean,
what's elaborate? What? His comb over. That is a pretty elaborate comb thing that we're seeing right now.
You know what? Also, yes. And did you see those salmon shoesies? Do you see the salmon shoesies?
I saw them.
Two salmon swimming up a stream, honey, on that set stage. Some of them are. Sometimes he parts them like he's like standing like a little dancer, like Mary Poppins,
with his Easter suit on. It's just, Chris, it's too much. I will go in on that person. And he's like, how is this flirting? And literally everybody is telling him it is. And he's like, it is hard for me to stop being me. And I'm like, oh, it's hard for you to stop attention seeking. It's hard for you to just go in a place, say what's up to somebody. And I don't know. Everything they said about him is true. Dempsey couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it.
Yeah, Dempsey, if Dempsey was in the flesh, she would have like walked off the stage. Like, Dempsey couldn't handle it even on the.
She couldn't. And he says, I'm a talker and an entertainer. And that's when I was like, that's when I drew the line. I said, sir, you are not a fucking entertainer. So just calm down. You try to cover up your insecurities by being a funny guy or being a guy that has personality that people like with a little bit of whiskey thrown in. That is who you are. You are not an entertainer. Who do you entertain? Your dumb friends from the Steiners group? So then fucking listen. Let me tell you right now, Chris.
No, you tell me.
Tyree?
What?
Says, I think everyone's just wrong. I think he's just a friendly guy. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Tyree. What do you even know about anything? You let somebody catfish you for 4 years.
Yeah, there's, like Nicola, who, by the way, Nicola doesn't say one word, by the way, in the tell-all part 2.
No, he does. He tells Jasmine to pray or whatever. Remember, there's a whole Catholic. He gives Jasmine advice and tells her to give it up to God. She's like, great, I will. And I also pray for sex.
I guess, but just like, I feel like we barely get it, which is fine, but like, yeah, like what Tyree knows and what Nicola knows could fill one line of like one line on like a wide ruler, like, remember the paper that you would have to in the 90s or in the 80s practice your penmanship, and those spaces were like this.
Yes,
there was a middle space like this
to teach you how to
wrote one line. That's both those gentlemen's knowledge of the whole fucking world, like, and so it's just
what he has, his knowledge could fit in a thimble. It is. Shut up. So then Jane comes, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I skipped through whatever Jane had to say. I didn't like her hair, and I felt like I was like, Jane,
I'll just say Jane's too negative, and it's like Cleo has to be like, bitch, stop telling your one friend negative shit if you want to be in this relationship. Like, that is a thing that girls do, where it's like, you can't just tell your friends bad things about someone you're with and expect them to like them. But also conversely, you, if you're the girlfriend, have to realize that this bitch only gonna tell you mean shit, except that when you get there, you're gonna have to be like, all right, it doesn't help you to be negative Nancy, because then you're the odd one out for no reason,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. This is a shout out to all ladies out there. Do not do this. It's the worst. I've had to let people go, like let friendships go, because this has happened. I mean, it's the only healthy thing to do, because it's really hard to watch a friend just continuously do the same thing over and over again. That puts them, makes them unhappy, and then they want to complain to you. Go complain to your therapist. Okay, so he proposes to Miss Cleo, and Riley's like, "Is that a proposal? Like Riley was like the king of the one-liners this episode. So he's like, Cleo, I know we haven't talked about this, but would you consider one day marrying me? So like we're like, what? And she's like, oh my god, I'm getting proposed on national TV. She didn't say that, but that's what she was thinking. But like, she was like, okay, well, I mean, we have a lot of things to work through, but we'll talk about this at another time. And they're like, Sean Robinson's like, so Christian, is this a proposal? And he's like, I would say that she can anticipate that it's probably gonna happen.
With a sterling silver ring. He can't wait to buy her.
So then they're like, hey, then they bring out Deborah, we see her, she's beautiful, she's smoking hot, and she calls out his bad behavior, and then she goes away. And then they ask him, would you ever really consider dating her? And he's like, oh no, she has curly hair, it's not my type. And that's when I was fucking done with him. They better not have him on any other episode of 90. How in the hell are you gonna completely just push out an entire like group of women based on hair texture? I mean, that is such if there were the Black community, would be like colorist and like, geneticist or whatever. But like, he does it in such a way that I'm like, how dare you? Any woman, curly hair or no, you should be grateful that someone even farts in your direction.
I'm so sad, Wa, because my hair is naturally wavy, which means I probably am I'm too curvy for him. And I'll tell you what, my biggest love of a man is just like a balding, comb over, ginger, pale forehead, tiny man. I'll never have him, Wa, because of the texture of my hair. And I mean, I'm gonna go to bed tonight, but I'll never sleep again.
Girl, I will be right there with you. I mean, he would hate me. I mean, he wouldn't even want to like be in the same room with my tight ass kinky hair. Like, I mean, the fact that the audacity. Jasmine has naturally curly hair. I mean, every girl in like the 90s who went through middle school trying to straighten their hair every single morning is cringing on the inside. And I hate him for it. So
you know what? He's also did it for a dumb way. He's doing it to guys do this thing where they think to make their girl feel good, they'll put down the girl that they're not supposed to like, to be like, she's not my type. You're so much hotter than her. Like, we've seen that before. Remember when Patrick and Thais did that? It's that thing where Patrick will like, with his when he had the friends over, he's like, oh, those girls are so fucking ugly. Like, you're so much hotter than there. And she's like, oh, good. You think I'm hot and they're ugly. It's like a pick me girl behavior. It's like a pick me guy behavior of like, no, that's not it. That's not hot.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel secure. That like, oh, you're not going to cheat on me, especially with her because she has her hair. Okay, good.
Because of her curly hair. And I'm like, what about the girls who straighten their hair? Would you like date a girl who like, you think her hair is straight this entire time, and then that bitch goes and washes her hair and she comes out and she has curly hair? Would you just get up out of the bed and run away? Like, I can't be here anymore.
Bitch, I didn't know you had a Dyson air styler. I didn't know. If I knew you had a Dyson air styler, I'd have never took you home. God, your sweet hot pocket, and really enjoyed my time there. No, I would have said no to your hot pocket.
I almost broke my neck doing that bit. So I hope it gets laughs.
Jesus.
All right. I think it's time for us to take a commercial.
And a hot shower. I don't know.
If you knew what just happened to me.
Was it a shit show? What'd you do? Like, God. Was it like a shit show?
I didn't realize I had things in the way. Oh, I tripped.
For your comedic bit. So you had to like.
Just like fell. I had to catch myself and. Okay. Let me write this down. 24, I think it happened. You know what happened to me today? This is a real quick story. Girl, I almost broke my neck just now. I was returning something from Amazon at one of the stores where you could drop shit off. And I had my headphones on and I was listening to Be My Lover because of Rhythm as a Dancer. And so I was listening to Be My Lover and I had it going, but I had it a little bit off my ear so I could hear the lady helping me. And I turn around ready to just like beeline it out of there because I had things to do. And this lady had her cart so close to me that I turned around, took half a step, and just completely fell over her cart. Like completely just fell into her cart. Like I was trying to be a grocery that she purchased. And she would smiled and like laughed. I knew it was nervous. And I needed to get out of there. But I fucked up my knee, and then the lady who was helping me was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, like whatever." But as soon as I exited the store, I wanted to go back in there and walk up to her and be like, "What the fuck were you laughing at? You were so fucking close to me that I couldn't even take a goddamn step."
Yeah.
Like I just in the moment I was like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
Like, and I'm still pissed about it. If I see that bitch on the street, I'm fucking her up.
What?
I say, if I see that bitch on the street, fucking her up.
I know.
Okay.
I get it because that's a high. That's a, like when I've been so anxious, as you know, like I obviously like couldn't even get past like sitting this up today, whatever. But like, it is so easy to react high. I'm so highly reactive, and I just have to like almost like within myself tell myself before I get into a car, before I have interactions, before I call someone, before I go on a date, just like I have to like literally tell myself to be less reactive at all times. It's like I have to like, yeah, like wear a little like gravity vest, just like hold myself down, you know?
Yeah. I want to know what that gravity vest looks like though. Like I need to say gravity vest. But anyways, I just wanted to tell like I just thought about it and I still think of her stupid blonde fucking face giggling and laughing. And I'm like, bitch, your cart was so goddamn close to me. Like I just want to fucking
Like
I hope I hope I see her on the street.
So you can do what? Kill her? I mean, what are you gonna do? Give her an evil eye?
Yeah, I know. I just want to ask her what the fuck she was laughing at.
But 2 weeks later?
I know I was nervous. I'm just mad.
Okay,
I hurt my knees and I almost killed myself just now. It's a lot of falling today.
I know. I am really sorry for that. You know I fall a lot and I feel bad for you. You deserve you better like take care of yourself. You better just like do like whatever. You better like, oil yourself up tonight and like take all the little baby. You better like baby princess yourself up tonight. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love that support. All right, we are back. Okay, so let's move on to David and Sheila. David looks so much better with a beard. Less sweat, not broken glasses, and a beard. Like I'm just a different person.
Do you think that he went to a barber with like an unshaven look like the day before and was like, and then the barber like transformed him and we're looking at like a glow up, like a male glow up?
I don't think that he spends money on a barber. I think that he does it all himself.
You think that, okay, so you think that man did this beard, the groomed and did it like for TV himself?
Mm-hmm. This is the reason why. I mean, maybe they paid for him to do it in New York City, but this is the reason why. He could not afford to help her fix her home. Now he figured out it to do so.
Yeah.
Like he figured out a way of doing so, which I love. I love it. But he works 85 hours a week.
85.
2 full-time jobs. 2 full-time fucking jobs.
Yes, at least I will say this. I'm happy though that whatever he's doing, he has the dignity and time and safe space to like and that's texting. If you're listening, that was me texting. And by the way, that's the sound I make when I text people I like.
What a nice bit of information to know. Okay, I wrote this question for myself. Why do they have David mic'd? I feel like they do it maliciously. Because like there's no other reason to have him mic'd unless you want to hear him breathing or hear him making sounds.
Well, maybe the reactionary, like that or I mean, I don't know.
Okay, I will tell you your next note so you can go.
I give up. I give up. I give up. I give up.
David and Sheila have a sorry store, which we also hear in tow with Mary, because Mary and Brandon have a sorry store too.
I
But anyways,
know. That's so many. I know.
yeah.
Sorry stores.
Yes.
You think that like Violet was like, God damn it, I could have got me a sorry store. Honey,
Well,
I just like fucked up my sorry store.
No, it would be Hazel. I don't know.
I
Do they
know.
have...
I'm like, this is the most racist. I mean, am I being racist right now? You tell me.
No, racist.
Okay.
That's like a far stretch. You're just being no, just kidding. Anyways, so
Okay.
just being dumb. No.
Yeah, I'm being dumb nature right now.
Anyways, so you wrote the note. Everyone cries after when they have to wait 3 to 4 years. Go.
So yeah, this was the part. Okay, so yeah, it almost felt like there was a sign and it says everybody cries, how there used to be a sign that goes everybody laughs, because yeah, it's sad, like they go through this whole thing where he, like can't get married in the Philippines because it'll take long, and they got to get married here, it's gonna take a long time, and it really breaks, I mean, every heart in the studio and every heart in the room. And this is like, okay, I'm gonna say this. How do I say this? I'm gonna say this. It's way worse to like not be in love and not have like the love of your life and not know that there's like a time in which you can be together and like you're both so healthy and everything. It's just like, it's not the worst thing that you have to wait a little bit, right? And it's not on a show where she's gonna keep coming back, you can come back and fine. 3 to 4 years is like what, getting a degree? But to me, it's like 3 to 4 years is getting a degree, like you have to commit to 3 to 4 years before you're like, okay, well, this is what it is. It's not ideal, and believe me, I'm a creature that wants like instant gratification all the time. I mean, I'm in a damning degree, but at the same time, I can't cry about not spending money online. I do, you know what I'm saying? But I have to like wait.
You are absolutely wrong. Okay, Christine. You
I
would
love
be
it. Tell me more
crying,
about that.
Chris. You would be crying because you're like, I don't understand how, like, you would. That Karen in you would absolutely be very upset that the United States Immigration Services is not giving the one and only Christine Farah what she fucking wants. Like, you would be like, I just don't understand. Like, you would be fully crying, just in your Mercedes crying, just like tears outside of whatever Orange County fucking like office. You would be like,
do I say I don't understand a lot? in heaps of like emotional distress. I don't understand that. Do I do that? It sounds so like I don't even.
I don't know that. I don't know that. But what I'm just saying, that's what all these people
You're
do.
good at impressions, so I'm guessing I do.
No, but I can imagine if you just didn't do any research and I think when folks don't have any understanding, I mean Gino does, but some folks don't have understanding of what it's like to be with somebody who is not in the States. And especially if you're picking a person from I'm going to use this word because I can't right now think of a better way to say it, a poorer country, a country that isn't just like an ally or whatever,
third world or something.
Yeah, like when it's those countries, like they don't realize that those folks just can't apply for a visa. That's why it's so lucky that Amanda has Rosvin, someone who can come and see her, Dempsey, someone who can come and see Statler, Cleo, someone who can come and see like what's his face. So that's my thing, is that they're going to these countries, like even Violet is able to get a visa. It probably has to do with her work, the fact that she has a job. But a lot of times America looks at the person coming and then wants to know what they have back home to ensure that they'll actually go back home. So if you own businesses back home, if you have a good job and are living a good life back home, they'll most likely let you come on a tourist visa knowing that you have incentive to go home.
Yeah.
So anywho, they decided to do the K-1 visa. He started the process, and we talk about Amy. What did you think of that, Chris? The Amy talk.
I mean, it made me like, that part made me like sad, because like, he was so sweet to be like, oh, I didn't even know that it was happening, and like, like I don't care, but even then, isn't like David's gonna be like, don't worry, like Sheila, like Amy is gross. I definitely don't like Amy. She's so ugly. He's classier. It's just a classier move. See that?
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I like the fact that when Amy's like, I learned to sign in a month, David's like, oh no, that's not true. And I thought the same thing. I was like, that's not true. You don't just learn, you don't just remember symbols like you in a month. I mean, unless you had literally nothing else to do. It was the pandemic. You couldn't leave your home, and all you were forced to do was just sign to someone in front of you
Who knew it really well. And
yes,
also someone was teaching you and being like, no, it's this. And you're like, okay,
yes.
okay, then.
Yeah, like I think then you could do that, but otherwise, but what did you think of the sex signs, that whole thing?
That was one of the better parts of the episode, like definitely, Statler's like, seems like that's scissoring. Is that scissoring? And like, yeah, we get to know that you can kind of make any sexual looking, sign that involves two things. He's like, if it's two things that look like things that you do with bodies, then it all makes sense. Is that what you're doing right now? Okay. Yeah. So,
I went to a high school that was DHS, deaf and hard of hearing. That's what it was called. So there was quite a few deaf or hard of hearing kids I went to class with. So there was like sometimes interpreters in my class, and of course they would teach us all the fucking cuss words, and like they would, of course. So yeah, I walked away knowing like bullshit and like sex and like fucking and like, yeah. I mean, I don't remember all of it, but we definitely got that. So
I
then
love you do like, like if you're just like, that's something that doesn't make sense. Like, sorry, what's that? Sorry, what's that move? Sorry, is that a move that you guys do together? Like, yeah, we lay on a bed and we click feet together. Like you're like, no, I don't think that's sex. Like,
oh, what is this one?
Tip of the hat. Take off your hat and I'll give you a blowjob. That's probably Jasmine's best line. That was like, yeah. Riley had some great lines, which Ty-Ray's. Okay, so I don't know when that happens. I'll tell you my favorite Riley line during Ty-Ray's.
Okay. I know.
But Jasmine has hers when she's like, "Yeah, how do you sign? Take off your hat. I'll give you a blowjob."
Yeah. So then Jasmine says that her heart goes out to Sheila.
And that she's also said that, like she's Miss Cleo's biggest protector. So Jasmine like becomes goddamn Gal Gadot. The Jasmine becomes Wonder Woman during this, where she's just like, honey, everyone get behind me that's weak. Let Jasmine show you the way, like Statler's like, like when she goes at people, they're like, yeah, you like Amanda's like, I don't, like it's so funny. Who goes, someone was like, I don't know about you, Jasmine, telling me shit. It's like
Christian,
yeah.
But he's also just kind of trying to go after the villain. Like he's already got the consensus that everyone basically doesn't like Jasmine and thinks that she's super toxic. So what she was saying was valid. But he was like, you don't have a leg to stand on. You can't tell me shit. Big blah, 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 blah. And she's like, yeah, but I am not out like fucking trying to talk to other men. Yeah, I went out to dinner on Valentine's Day with my ex, but, so I think Jasmine was just trying to be a beauty pageant queen. So then we talk about Jasmine and the Gino prenup. What'd you think?
Basically, I loved and thought it was interesting that Misha was like, you know what, I'm on Jasmine's side. Yeah, no, I think that it's Statler's like, what? Like Statler couldn't stand that she said that, or Dempsey couldn't stand that they said that. But it's like, yeah, of course Jasmine doesn't want there to be a prenup. Like Jasmine wants to move to the country and then not be like, he can just, if he wants, take away all his money from me, And so I don't know. It almost feels like, why don't you ask for a prenup and just make sure that you get a lot? you know?
That's what I think
about that. Go on.
I think that too. I think you're right. And I think maybe some women don't know that they have the right to do that. She's talking about a will. And I'm like, girl, add that to the prenup. Add what you want in case of his untimely death to the prenup. Like, so yeah.
Like, okay, if you were to have a prenup, like, what do you want? What does he want to know in the prenup? Like, he wants to know that, she's not going to leave me after like 2 years and take away all my money. Okay. I want, to know that at any time, if we don't work out while I've moved here, I'm going to need a blanket $500,000, regardless of time. And after 3 years,
$500,000. I need you to provide it.
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, she could be like, okay, because what makes me feel scared is that I'm going to move to America and then just suddenly have nothing if you leave me. So that's what terrifies me. And the second thing is, I also am terrified that if you die, I'll have nothing. So if you want me to sign a prenup, one condition is A, I get $500,000 regardless for the first 3 years. After 3 years, my price goes up, or whatever she wants to say in the Second Amendment can be like, oh, immediately upon our marriage, if you die, I'm this beneficiary, sole beneficiary. Because he doesn't have kids, unless he has kids, and I don't know, and I don't, But basically, yeah, you can if you. What would make you feel comfortable? Like every every deal is what one person wants and the other. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. So then after this, we move on to
Okay, one more
Razvan.
thing.
Yeah.
Does this mean Misha doesn't want to have a prenup with Nikola?
I was going to say the same thing.
Misha, which has had a career, and Nikola, who again bargained for a $1,200 ring as a fisherman in Israel/Palestine. So you are just gonna, with your kids and all their college education, like, okay, just. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's definitely gonna have a prenup. I think she feels like is there a difference with the gender, that Nikola should just have a job and like whatever. But I'm like, what job is? I mean, unless Nikola is like an IT genius, and he could just go somewhere in cybersecurity and just make up like $200,000 a month. And we know that he just fishes at night and on the weekends. You know what I mean? Like it could be that he could actually have like decent amount of money, but we did see him haggle for $1,200. And you know how I feel if something is less than 2,000. I'm like, you should not be in this situation.
For the love of your life, the woman that is going to be the hot pocket for the rest of you never had what? You've only had cold hors d'oeuvres you only had like ham sandwiches. You've never had a hot, you won't buy. I just can't even. I won't even. I just like this. The disrespect is like, I couldn't even. I mean, like, this is where I would not be able to look at him again for the rest of my life. I couldn't look at him. I'd walk away. I'd throw up. I think I'd walk away and throw up somewhere in this bazaar. I'd just be like, don't record it. I'd throw up. I would just board a plane. I would fly first class Emirates just to get myself out of the puddle of despair that I had gotten myself into, put it on a credit card, be in debt. I don't care. Just to like feed the ego to bring myself back that I'm not a valid, I'm a worthy person. Like that's how decimating that is sounding like for my own. I don't even know. Like, and listen, come and get me hate. I don't know why I feel this way. It's like, it's so horrible. Anyway.
Yeah. Misha felt the same way too, but not as much as you. So let's move on to Razvan and Amanda. Okay, so Razvan was wearing a very suspicious outfit. It felt like he was about to, I don't know, get on stage and start dancing. Like it felt like very much a theater outfit.
For my shirt.
Yeah,
too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy, it hurts.
It's like all of a sudden Razvan and Sarper are like kind of the same person in that, like with that choice of the shirt, they're just like the same person, right? And he's like, they're like, how are you doing? He's like, I didn't know this was going to take so long, and I missed my striptease class. And I was very happy for him because also Sarper also needs a striptease class. Yeah, girl, that was. I mean, we're used to Magic Mike. I have been watching Magic Mike for years, so I can't watch that and be satisfied.
You know that I put onto the Instagram of it that I was going to make you. Did you see your Instagram comment I texted you on? Look at your Instagram. Look at your Instagram. Okay, so yeah, two things. Yes, it's very funny again when the producers give us two strippers in a time. You know, like yes, they're giving us Sarper on toe, and this is obviously before the 90 days, and so. It's been really fun to like go back and forth and also like mildly confusing. I like to go onto the Instagram of 90 Day Fiancé and, have a little fun under the Docu Sweeties handle. You should be following us at Docu Sweeties. We'll ask to come on and tell us what I said. Whenever she wants. She takes her time though. Sometimes she's like gets lost in the feed. So if you're on Patreon, I told her to check the 90 Day Fiancé, and now she's just like looking at TikTok. You know, she's just like, we lost her. She's like finding her next.
Stop it. I lost it. I went to it and then I tried to. Okay, here's what it says. It says, just call me Wa. We'll do a full imitation of this for our Patreon live Monday night. Yes, I will. I'm gonna reply. Yeah, I will. Okay, let me watch it again.
And it's like at first, okay. It's at first.
Can I procure a hard hat? This is the wrong. Okay, sorry.
This is the wrong show. So
this is the wrong show.
About the show. We're gonna talk about the show, and I'll describe his dance. But anyway, in this situation, yes, Razvan misses his class, and I'll tell you who doesn't miss her class. You. What?
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, no, I was swinging from that pole today. No, I learned how to do something really. I'm getting stronger in my arms, and I learned how to do. I think we have to cut this out. I haven't told everybody that I've taken a class. I've only told Patreon. Like I don't put it anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just was like about to do it, and I was like, oh, I want to pull back. Okay,
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't post it anywhere because I don't, people are weird and judgmental, and like I don't.
You know what? I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. I just got excited. You're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I get it. We can always fix it. Don't worry. Hey, okay. Patreon. Okay. Take it back to.
I know what it was. You know who doesn't miss a class? That's what happened. I said
okay.
That's what you just cut it back from that.
Okay. So Amanda, she's rude. And her sister, like, guys, they're not together. And they broke up 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. And then all of a sudden, Riley is like, I don't know, men, why would you have her come all the way over there and then, not be with her 3 weeks after she leaves? It sounds suspicious. Men play the long game. And I said, he didn't force her to get on that plane. She got on the plane and went there, knowing that she just got out of her, she's mourning the loss of her beloved husband. Mm-hmm. So are her children. Mm-hmm. And she even carries around the father's ashes in a box. Mm-hmm. And then she goes there and is a complete bitch and starts to cry when he says that he will get his own visa and come there. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand what show Riley saw, but to me, it wasn't this show. I just really don't understand his point of view.
I have to think his point of view is that this person's sitting in front of him and the other one isn't. And this person is a female and the other one is a male.
Okay.
This one's cuter and this one's not as cute. Okay. I'm assuming that's got to be it.
Yeah.
Riley also likes to have this thing where I think that Riley probably prides himself on connecting to his feminine and or emotional part. And so the fact that he can speak to the female and or whatever, the usual trope of a female who like gets sweet talked until, she gets, in bed and then he treats her differently. It's like he wants to like be like the pick me guy that doesn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Guess. Yeah, it just felt out of pocket to me.
Him going after Riley's crazy, but some people are going after Amanda. That's like, I forgot who exactly is like on
Amber, her sister.
Yeah, well, for sure. Amber. I'm happy that Amber comes on, and my favorite part, of course, happens when Amber lets it slide that there was this moment where Razvan didn't want Amanda to be talking to other TikTok streamers because that's like, that's her thing. Some people have Tinder and Amanda just goes into TikTok streams and just like gives roses away. Like, anyway, God bless me.
Yeah. Chris, relax.
Maybe I shouldn't say this. Relax.
Relax.
Like I know.
Relax. I was like, oh no. If Big Sis, I need Big Sis to come up there and like, like Amanda is rude. She's an absolute rude biddy, and I can't get over it because then Jasmine has an opinion and she's like, you don't fucking know me. And then we fucking find out that she is flirting with some other guy on the side who Razvan doesn't even know she's actually flirting with, but he could tell something is up and asked her not to talk to him. And she still did anyway. And the sister even tells on her.
Yes.
And it's just so weird that the sister is also like, well, what changed when she got there? And I'm like, did you not watch the show? She was a monster.
Yeah. She was just like, she was pouty, she was bitchy. Like her and, Kimberly both had this thing where they're really bitchy girls and they will admit to it, but not change. And they're like, I don't know, they're real bitchy. Like Amanda's like, I know I can be a bitch. It's like, well, that's to say the least. Like, you are a snotty snot. You are an insufferable snot. And
Mm-hmm.
like, listen, maybe it works for you sometimes when you're like, like, I don't know, when you're just like kind of like going through it and like a little victimy and a little wafy looking or whatever. But like sometimes you can also come off as just being just, I don't know, just kind of a beast. I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
She's kind of beastly in this tell all, and
insufferable.
she's lost her charm and she's dating someone
She
new
never
and
had any charm.
yeah, the charm she had is having two, like, the only thing that she had was the fact that she had a trauma story. Like, she was just like kind of like a weird American Idol contestant where like nothing to be memorable about, but you get introduced to her early on and she has a trauma story we have to like learn and we feel bad for her, but then she like kind of sings and we're kind of like, well, it's not good enough. Not good enough to be on the show. I'm sorry that, like someone died, but like I can't hear this voice for like 10 weeks. Well, remember American Idol?
Yes. Yes. And they're like, yeah, my name is Jody and I'm super excited to be here. And then a sad music starts. Yeah, I was going to come last year, but
No!
my dad my dad unfortunately lost his battle with cancer, and I'm here today because I know he would want me to be here. He was really sad that I couldn't make it last year because I had to take him to chemotherapy. And this is for you, Dad. You tried to make me go to rehab, and I say, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be a no from me, dog, or whatever. I don't know. I just like put five people together, like Paula. I don't know. Paula takes a Diet Coke, I wish that Simon said it's gonna be a
It's a
no
no
from
for
me,
me,
dog.
dog.
Yeah, yeah. And then, but yeah, Paula actually would be like, I don't know, I like her. Like she was always really nice. This is how old it is. Like, those people aren't even on anymore. Like, I don't even know who's on it. I don't even know who, like, Katy Perry is someone maybe on it. I don't know. Grandma.
Is it still on?
Mm.
Remember So You Think You Can Dance? Like, why did that go away?
Why? I don't
It was,
understand.
yeah, it got bad the last couple of seasons. But I mean, isn't it time for a revamp? Like, sometimes I just go on Instagram and watch old clips of Ivan dancing with Twitch's wife.
Why did it get bad? Is it because, like, they made superstars out of choreographers and then they just didn't have them on for like we stopped having Sonia and Mia Michaels, and we definitely never had Wade anymore. I mean, we stopped having, like, some Tice came on back a little bit. There was no more Brian Friedman. Like, there was just like we stopped having some of the great people.
For me, it got bad because they started doing so much extra background drama stuff. Like they would just, it was too much about the cast. And then the like Hollywood week was like 6 episodes. It just got
Yeah.
really, it wasn't as tight. It wasn't like, hey, you got picked, and then it just wasn't. They overproduced it. That's what it is. They overproduced it and added elements that it was unnecessary. And I was like, just, I'll come back in 3-4 weeks when it's finally at who's on the cast. And then then I started watching it and I was like, everyone is 19. Like literally every single cast member is 19. And I know that that's usually the height of folks dance, time. They're, but it just, I don't want to see like young, not out of the closet gay boys dancing. Like, I don't know. So we move on to Carmela and Tyree. And this whole thing, I just literally had to get up and walk away and just listen to, because I don't, again, I'm still mad that Tyree is on this show. He was never in a relationship. Like,
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Basically, their big thing is they bring this British producer on who found out that he was catfish, and basically he's like, "Yeah." So I talked to him, and we play a thing, and basically, like, this is an asshole scammer who's like, "Yeah, I made him come because I wanted to get new shoes and an iPhone. I saw him, and I just thought he was a dumb, stupid American." Make Tyree listen to that.
true.
I guess I kind of wish there was maybe an update about Tyree's family. Like, everyone got people in. Tyree's there. We don't even see him, but like, what's happening with his mom and sister? We had so much of his mom and sister. Like, we get nothing about them at all, by the way. No update at all.
Yeah. And the sister really helped him with his episodes. If his sister wasn't there, who would we have?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, Riley saved the show. So basically, then after this British producer comes on and is like, that's what happened, then they're like, okay, so Tyree, here's another surprise. We have found another number. So then we're gonna now call this person live. Like, Sean's always like, is that okay, Tyree? Tyree's like, okay. Whatever, God bless. So they call the number and it goes right to voicemail. And then Riley has the moment of moments where he just is like, we're gonna fuck you up, motherfucker. And like, I was like, Riley, okay. Maybe I'll listen. Next time I hear some Elton John, I'll give a little like, yeah, I will.
Yeah. Then everybody starts to talk about their opinion of Christian, and it's wholly unnecessary. Christian's like, from one Christian to another Christian, fuck you. We're like, thanks, Steiny, or whatever the fuck.
Jasmine's like, karma's a bitch and karma's gonna come get you. I'm like, oh, Jasmine, okay.
So yeah, that's the end of it, right? Oh no, then we find out that fucking Tyree has sent naked photo, like.
Oh, yeah. They thought he was gonna be blackmailed. Yeah. What?
So so that's just like, texting 101. Don't fucking send pictures and videos of your fucking face in it.
Yeah, I just like, it was dick and face in picture. Was it butthole and face in picture? Was it dick, butthole, and face? How'd you get them all in one? Did he like cut out his face and then like put it like, did like, Canva into the picture? Because it's like, it seems like a lot as a selfie to take,
Yeah. So that's the end of the tell-all. Everybody gets their cab ride home. That's it, right? That's all that fucking happens. We barely get anything from Rosvin. Like, they broke up and he's like, I'm coming there. I'm going to see her. And she's like, no, you're not. And, that's it.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little TikTok star, and that's in his right said Fred shirt. That's fine with me. I wish him the best. I would,
Yeah. All right, you guys, that is the end of this episode. I already told you can find us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. But if you don't have that, Chris will tell you how you can support us in other ways. Chris?
You can, through social media, through at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X/Twitter, and of course, the Facebook group, DocuSweeties Podcast Facebook group. God bless. Oh, we've loved every second of this. Give us 5 stars, will you? And we'll be on our way.
Bye.
Bye.